looks stupid. I mean, I should put on the white one. Change the black one, put on the white one. Yes!
To my ladies who's been
Good night, good night. Putting on my TikTok, give me a minute then. Anyway, tonight, we want to take a little look. Barbados election. We can see what's going on now. Ballot box, then I start counting it.
Saw that there were enumerators going around who had been supposedly to my house. I didn't see them. However, I said I don't want to leave that a chance because you never know. I did not want to have to go to wherever it was. I said I was told I needed to render myself, so I went on EBC's website. I used the chat tool to check I think I was required to enter my ID number and verified. I just checked my polling station to make sure my polling station had not changed and good to go.
But to be clear,
How are
your
you,
siblings
sweetheart?
are not eligible constitutionally
Wow.
or other ways from putting their ex, their
Who not
clan,
bring tonight?
they're
Me and
registered,
Matley
they're duly
are
registered.
Wema
They
near
can do
Alpha.
so, even if they don't actually live here all the time. I mean, that,
But then I start counting.
so it's not a
If they're
question
on
of,
the list.
yeah, if they're on the list. So there's no spell down
It
there.
says they're on the list.
It's just a very shabby approach as far as we can see from the Electoral Boundaries Commission. Let's spare a thought for this independent agency, bipartisan agency that has been forced to
Me and
produce a list
Matley.
for general elections ahead of time twice.
The
So
other
it's
man that look like him too ready though. Him not too intelligent to me. He look arrogant.
When it could be explained by incompetence. And And in this case, I think this classically fits it. Anyone who's trying to suggest otherwise is just being mischievous. The reality is that persons across the partisan spectrum are affected. No
All right,
one
we'll
knows
come back to
one's
it
persuasion
a little
because
bit.
we still in Barbados have a time-honored
We'll come back to
tradition
it a little
of
bit
respecting
later.
the secret ballot.
Then just a debate now, so nothing now count it so we can see what go really go on. So by the time we finish, something must come up. But every now and then we go check it, so. But we have to own a problem down at Jamaica, yeah. But every week the parliament is a drama. I'm gonna make you listen to this. This story with this one with Damian Crawford and
Number one in the race, you couldn't come to third. Madam. So something was brought to my attention by George last evening. Something I find fascinating. And I want to talk about it a little bit because I can't, for the life of me, imagine why that would have happened. So I noted with some interest that the Member of Parliament for Northwest St. Catherine, Damian Crawford, has been removed from Parliament's Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, the PAAC. And I understand by what I saw that he's supposed to be replaced by Dr. Alfred Dawes. Kevin, in Cliff Hughes Online at the bottom, the leader of the government business in the House, Floyd Green, made the revelation. Here's Mr. Green.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that at the next meeting of the House, I will move the following motion. Be it resolved with reference to the resolution approved by this Honourable House on October 21, 2025, appointing a Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, that the name Damian Crawford be removed from the membership of the committee, and that the name Alfred Dawes be substituted thereof.
You're the labor right
Madam
now.
Speaker,
Now, not surprisingly, the government MPs made heavy weather of the unusual move. They chanted that they want Damian. I don't know if that allow me to participate.
Madam Speaker, I further beg to give notice.
House, it depends on what you want him for. Members, the House is a serious place, so are you asking for a vote, and are you asking for a divide, or are you playing around?
We don't reach. No.
So Juliet asked them, how it depends.
Nationwide is reporting that Crawford voluntarily, that's what we've been told by sources, voluntarily removed himself from the committee. But of course, reasonable people can be forgiven for questioning whether there's some link between yesterday's move in the House and this exchange between Messrs. Bunting and Crawford at a recent PAAC meeting.
Madam Speaker, I further beg to give notice.
All right, no, Kevin. So go into the second story in Cliff Hughes Online. It's the second clip that I want.
I don't know if that allow me to participate in the committee, but I find that you consistently answer the questions I'm
No,
trying to understand.
I have to maintain a balance.
I understand the balance, but if the PS don't have the
answer.
answer.
It's difficult to ask the PS to come
Thank you. Thanks for the
That
gift.
sounded tense. Yeah. And you
That
very
never
rarely
sound tense. That never
in
sound tense
Parliament, for
between
as
him
long
and
as I've
Bunting.
been
Lie.
watching the proceedings, you very rarely see the opposition members bickering among themselves as to who should ask questions, how long those questions should be, because the practice has been that the parliamentary opposition uses the sittings of these committees to advance their position, yeah, to hold the government to account as they should, yeah, to show up the government. So it raised our eyebrows when we saw them bickering. Crawford seemingly annoyed that the chairman, Peter Bunting, kept cutting him off as he saw it, not allowing him to finish his questions. So I'm wondering, what's the cause of all of this? Because it's strange that one of the better performing MPs on the opposition side so far this parliament, Damian Crawford, and he has been, is being removed or removing himself from a committee that is important to government oversight. He has been effective, I think. He has applied himself. I notice his contributions are more sober. He's not displaying sort of the usual hubris, sort of tricks you kind of thing that, you know, has become associated with him. He's been much more measured and studied. And I remember wondering out loud whether he was seeking to repackage and rebrand himself for something bigger now that he holds a seat in the lower house and therefore would be constitutionally eligible for another post. So, is he being punished? I'm wondering, and wondering out loud, for doing his job well. Who would be threatened?
Yeah, but nobody never tell him to step down.
By a
You
high
just say
performing and effectively performing
him do it by
Damian
himself.
Crawford? Who would be threatened by that? And why would they be threatened by that? Because, to my mind, a
Good night,
united
Betty.
opposition, as the People's National Party says it is, would want to put forward its best and its brightest soldiers, yeah, on the front lines of oversight and accountability. And because in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa, there will be need for a lot of that oversight and accountability. And there will be need and space for the opposition to do what opposition's parties have done in this country. Yeah, when government has a lot to do and, you know, a lot of fronts to hold down, oppositions usually get to shine. And as I say, the PAAC is one such place that...
Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Let me get back to this one. Listen to it, the next one him say now.
She assured me that January 8th this year, so these are all this year dates. January 8th,
No, I'm not ready for play. I'm not ready for play
Madam
that one.
Speaker,
Yeah.
The fact that he took somebody's life.
Alright, so hold on. So that's about Damian. So I'm going to play a legal opinion. No, it shouldn't be an opinion. The legal framework for why Silvera get manslaughter. I want you to listen to it from a legal explanation.
This is the crux of the matter. The fact that he took somebody's life, it is called homicide. Homicide is the unlawful taking a somebody life. And it's in American, a Jamaican method too. So we can talk in a patois. When you unlawfully take somebody's life, you commit homicide. Now, homicide is broken down into two categories. There is murder and there's manslaughter. Keep that in mind. No, murder is also broken down into another category. There's first degree murder and there's second degree murder. Manslaughter is also broken down into another category. You have voluntary manslaughter and involuntary manslaughter. So, what both sides have to do is to see what fits best for Mr. Silvera, right? No, that is where the crux of the matter. So he committed, what him do is homicide. But what him do is not necessarily murder or manslaughter. It's going to be based on the situation at hand. And I'm going to define it for you. No. Everybody I say, Silvera murder him wife. No. To the public, you murder somebody because you take somebody's life and you murder. In the court of law, you don't just say anything. You prove everything. Mouth can't talk. Proof is what matters.
Yeah.
So, when you ever say the justice system fail the lady, or because the man have money, or it's because he's a politician and a site work, murder must be proven. And in order for murder to be proven, it's not just facts that proves murder. You have to prove intent. No, the intent has to be malicious. So in order for murder to be activated, you have to prove intent. Intent means that it's premeditated. Me get up, me say in my mind, say, me I'll take that somebody's life though. And me probably say it to somebody, or me probably write it, or me send an email, or me send a threat. There has to be proof that I premeditated to take your life. No, if you not a proof, I carry mine enough. If you have no proof, say me, they want to take your 3 points, or take the person 3 points, it cannot be murder. Because intent is not established. If you can't establish intent, you never commit murder. You can't say the person commit murder.
So what was the intent?
In the eyes of the public.
May I pause it, liquor? I like how she said that. So what was the intent they charge? Is it, me I like to know the difference between the murder and Donna Lee murder.
It's murder. But in the eyes of the law, murder not take place yet. Because the prosecuting side has to prove that he premeditated, whether by a text message, an email, a vocal response, the children heard him, the maid heard him, maybe tell him friend last night, say, me I'll take that woman alive. If none of that is present, it was never murder. So what the law does is the law jumps into manslaughter. Alright, so the reason why it was reduced to manslaughter, and that's why he pled guilty, because he knows that, listen, if they got a trial, they might change it and try to prove, say, me they want murder, and they won't give me murder. No, the difference between murder and manslaughter, murder comes with either life sentence or death penalty. Manslaughter are the one that will give you 15 to life, 20 to life, 15 to life with parole and all that pretty stuff. So him knows him wrong, so him just plead and the court accept it. Because the court has to listen, do we accept it? Because it's manslaughter anyway, there's no proof from the prosecuting side to say, hey, there was some premeditation. We're going to waste the court time. So since the person has said me guilty, I'll take manslaughter. No, what manslaughter is in the... So manslaughter now is where anything that has to do with crime of passion, heat of passion, you never mean it. You were provoked. Anything that, somebody was abusive with the language, especially when it's a spouse or it's a sibling or whatever, the person hurt your feelings so much, it was such a verbal response, and you're provoked, or maybe a cheating, and two people, a man catch a woman, a man catch another man in his woman's bed or something like that, and him go, boy, and him bust off cause him and say, the law judges the fact that the only reason why the person pow, the man when seen in bed, because logically speaking, if you got a yard, logically, and see a man with a woman in her bed, you're going to respond. So the law covers that because these things do happen. So what happened is that it has to be manslaughter. It wasn't premeditated. Somebody walking in them house and them see them partner with somebody. You will get mad. You will get mad and probably have blackout. And that's what the law covers. So in a severe case now, the defense attorney know what they might do. Because hear them say, him snap. What if based on what I just explained to you, he snap. So snap. The word when you use, oh my God, I was so angry, and she was telling me about my 1-year-old. I'm so upset. My snap. Hello, if me snap, that means I don't want to kill you. Me just get so angry and so that because you let me and me just flatline you. Manslaughter. He committed homicide, and the category of homicide that he committed was manslaughter. So my dear friends, it wasn't murder. It's not because I'm a politician, and it's not because he's a rich man. It's not murder. It is by law. The sections of the law, it is manslaughter. So, going forward, while we had discussed the case and I get upset on status and you know, on social media, consider the facts that I just presented to you. So per the law, it is manslaughter. Per the public, it is murder. And it's not because he's rich. It is the law. Okay. And one more point. I know a lot of persons are saying, oh, but the report said a 3 gunshot she get and she got it in her private part. And if me ever shoot somebody in a private part, then it seems then that it was premeditated and not because you're upset. The after facts does not matter. What you do after and the fact say he cleaned up the body and him sit back the body, yeah, that's all response of, oh my God, me don't want nobody knows that I'm afraid me I run from the law. That not have nothing to do with the establishing. In order for the man get charged, you have to establish the charges. So the extra part of what I say, you know, Ushpa should get the shot and the fact say him clean up the body, it doesn't determine whether or not the category was murder or manslaughter. Because like I just explained, there's only one thing that's needed to prove murder, and it's premeditated or malicious intent. One thing, that's it. If that is not proven, it cannot be murder. So murder is not looking at facts. Murder in that sense. Murder is not looking at whether him they clean up the body after, whether they shoot her in the head or they shoot her in the two or him shoot her in the vajayjay. The whole understanding of the law that is governing murder or govern what murder is not concerned about the facts of the case. What is concerned about was intent present, was premeditation present. It did it? I know did it. So if you know did it, and a murder. That's it. So the fact that he took somebody's life.
You see how the law funny in Jamaica. But you hear how clearly it was put out. And many of us don't really know law in Jamaica. We never know we law for land. So we just go by our own saying and all of that. But this was clearly explained why it was so. Even though it is there, you have to establish why. I didn't know. When I listened to this, I say, you know, I need to share it so that somebody else can get an understanding of what it really is. All right, let me check in back now with the election over Barbados and see what's going on.
Wrong, you know, why did you not go and support your colleague?
If
you're leading a party and your colleague would benefit from the vote. There's another argument that would say, look, all these years, you or your wife are living in a particular address, expected to vote in the address. Your wife gets through to vote, but then suddenly you're askance and askew, placed in a different area. And so maybe it's moral outrage, so he just takes a stand. But I prefer to just wait and hear.
But it has led to, for the first time, Commonwealth and CARICOM observers being called in to view our elections. Our tradition is we go look at Pakistan, we go look at South Africa. So what do you think about that?
I'm not embarrassed about these things. You know, this just can't get it right yet. There's 200 years of democracy, right? There was an election where there was this butterfly voting. I heard Peter saying they need to use the technology, but the technology went horribly wrong in that case in the state of Florida, where George W. Bush's brother, Jeb Bush, was the governor, and that rating went away. So. In this case, it's an institution responsible for preparing a cleaned-up list. By the time we're ready to have, by the time the electoral cycle matures, there's a little bit more extraordinary levels of anomalies, and they have to take the rap for that. But that is not a slight or anything to be embarrassed about. I'm sure the election observers, I'm very familiar with this process, will not necessarily flag that as a flaw in terms of the...
Them not started. Let me hear it, man.
My name is Madeline, and I'm a proud student of the University of the People.
826-5827. We have a number of persons who are commenting on the YouTube who are watching from Canada, from England. 826-5827. That's 826-5827. You can send us your messages to the panel. We have an open discussion as we look forward to the boxes continue to come in and the count to start very soon. It has started in some places. Jamal, you look at the fact that we speak a lot about the whole for apathy, but I know you wanted to share something about that particular comment.
All right, them not start.
I noted Dr. Masco's comment.
We are watching results coming in. We're watching the results coming in. But they're not started. So hold on, let me look back for this thing. I look for. I want you to listen to Door.
On Starlink was one of complete rejection. This morning, you seem to be almost going back on what you're saying with a clarification. Are you now accepting the fact that you did in fact breach the procurement guidelines?
As minister leading the procurement, that was a breach or not. My position is very simple. I'm justifying my position while basically paying respect to the AG's department and her for her job that she does, because I do not wish to become in a controversial position with any agency of government.
So just to follow up, is that yes, you accept that you breached the procurement guidelines?
Exactly.
I accept fully what was said by the AG in relation to me getting involved in the procurement.
I don't know. You see how them stay? Them would have never face a thing by just saying yes, and I'm sorry that I did. But you know, everyone will fall short. And I'm so accepting if somebody just say, you know, I fall short. Jesus have mercy. No, sir. Me not know if one set of people can stiff-necked, sir. You can't stiff-necked, sir, man.
They were there. But Barry, even I want to touch the matter.
University set a course for change.
The man say, listen it again, people. When he was
involved in the procurement.
So Minister Vaz, your initial response to the Auditor General's report on Starlink was one of complete rejection. This morning, you seem to be almost going back on what you're saying with a clarification. Are you now accepting the fact that you did in fact breach the procurement guidelines?
As minister leading the
You hear him
procurement,
now.
that was a breach or not. My position is very simple. I'm justifying my position while basically paying respect to the AG's department and her for her job that she does, because I do not wish to become in a controversial position with any agency of government.
So just to follow up, is that yes, you accept that you breached the procurement guidelines?
I accept fully what was said by the AG in relation to me getting involved in the procurement.
So Minister Vaz, your initial response to
Boy,
Auditor
me tell
General-
you, say, if we're country not gone backward, something wrong. These people never accept. Still I go around the argument, you know, it's just a simple thing. Do you? Did you? It's yes or is it no? Jesus, boy, no. Something wrong with we. Something is absolutely wrong with us as a people. Nobody wants to accept. Listen to Doris.
Let's hear what he has this morning.
Yes.
We also have Senator Marlon Morgan, Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, and always on the radio, taking the message forward. We also have with us, I know she should soon be here, Senator Rose Bennett Cooper.
Two matters under the purview of this ministry. The first, you may have seen in the press, the ministry is currently convening meetings and deliberations with our heads of missions, that is our ambassadors, our high commissioners, and consuls general from across our small but effective representation globally. And the meeting is here to ensure that all our missions are being guided by the most current policies and data and most recent developments here in country, even as we exchange best practices and circumstances that are occurring in situ, that is in the missions themselves and in the countries where they are hosted, as we navigate this world together. The deliberations are enriched by engagements with the Prime Minister, which will take place today. I had the honor and privilege of sitting with the teams yesterday, and I will assure you of the engaged, productive and fruitful discussions that are being undertaken. The meetings are closed, of course, because they have to facilitate the most frank of discussions and on sensitive issues. But I assure you that they are going well, and you are well represented in the jurisdictions where we host missions at this time. Minister Terry Long, you would have seen, had his engagements with mission heads and stakeholders in diaspora affairs, and in particular with our legacy partners who are our right and left hand as we get ready for the diaspora conference to take place June 14th to 16th this year. And as you would know, elections are currently underway for the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council and the Global Jamaica Diaspora Youth Council. And I do hope that you are getting involved. We have a record 51 candidates across the jurisdictions this year, and demonstrating the highest. Also make clear that on Monday, Cabinet
listen to the JPS, man.
discussed the situation.
Oh, in lie.
My ex-husband invited me to his wedding. Probably one of those polite gestures where he expected
So they're next. But as I was saying, in the cabinet meeting on Monday, we discussed Hurricane Melissa and post-Hurricane Melissa recovery.
Let's know the JPS, man.
As we always do. Every single cabinet meeting, we discuss that. We recognize that there's still many Jamaicans who
Which one
are
are
in
breaking
situations that are dire. And so
Lee?
we're working really hard as an administration.
Which one
to
are the
support as
breaking
much as
news?
possible.
Me don't know which
You
one.
know, we have the roof program where we've been giving grants to individuals who were affected. There are many
Type
other
in a
programs we
comment.
discussed, but key amongst those was JPS and restoration, because we understand that that's what many people want. They want to see light. And in order to get water to, we need to have electricity. And so the JPS was at Cabinet on Monday, and they did a presentation, and decisions were taken there. And so this morning, we have with us Hugh Grant, who is one of our favorite people here at Postcab, to come and tell you very quickly what's happening. And then after that, I will introduce Minister Vaz, and then we go.
We know, so that I got happen, man. We know that happened late. Tax did go a long time.
You can clap him too.
Good morning, Senator, the Honorable.
Listen, Lion man, you know.
Senator, the Honorable Kamina Johnson-Smith, the Honorable Darrell Vaz, Ambassador, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Today, February 14th,
Today 14th?
Approximately Valentine's Day on my mind, eh? And
I lie, you too lie, make your contract for
I'm so focused on a Valentine's gift for our customers here. February 11th, 3.5 months after the passage of Category 5 Hurricane Melissa, 97.5% of JPS
lie.
Across Jamaica. What does that mean? That means that approximately 673,000 of our 690,000 customers now have power.
But at an island wide enough, I don't know if stop cut this something, some man.
Did not happen by chance.
And the two lie.
It reflects methodical.
You can't generalize it right across the island. We want to hear about the affected era. You and Darrell Vaz too lie.
In technology.
Sure.
Discipline, planning, strong execution, and very, very importantly, heightened and effective partnerships. Our collaboration with the government of Jamaica, the National Water Commission, the National Works Agency, my fellow telecom providers, Flow, Digicel, the Ministry of Education. We were really able to strengthen those partnerships and facilitate the opening of schools and education for our students, very important. Partners with Carolec, that's a Caribbean utility group, the wider business community, and many leaders has been essential. These partnerships have brought us thus far, and it's these partnerships that will carry us through the final stages of restoration. One example of such partnership is one of the things we did for the first time. We brought in members of parliament and councillors into our incident command that set up regionally in the parishes of Westmoreland and St. James, because their areas have been catastrophically damaged. And they were not only able to see all that we were doing in terms of the response, the restoration of our systems, but very importantly, provided meaningful input to inform our restoration, and that has worked very well for us so far, and we will only continue to build on that. From the outset, we were deliberate in placing customers at the center of our restoration strategy. Every decision was guided by restoring our customers as safely and as quickly as possible. That focus drove multiple first-time, best-in-class initiatives anchored on a customer-centric approach. These initiatives included enhanced pre-hurricane coordination with fellow utilities and new incident command structure to better streamline the response, deeper and broader stakeholder engagement, and clear concise communication with customers across multiple channels. Through innovations such as the emergency mobile power generator, we have provided power to essential services sooner. We have helped businesses to open and communities to regain a sense of normalcy, while permanent design and rebuild of the grid infrastructure in some areas continue.
You can also see where he went during
That man
the
is
day
a
and who
liar.
he is with right now.
Liar.
With that said, let me be very clear. We
that this government took and a possible alternate government is the difference between having light at 97.5% today
No go so.
and 98 or
You
99%
can't cut the whole
by the end of this
island.
month,
How much
and not
percent in
having
the
light
era we
until the
affected?
end of
Stop on the
2026,
stupidness to the people.
2027.
Stop
early.
your lies.
So I know that we're rushed, so let me just get into
We just want the question they ask.
I will have to get written up again. Extreme times require extreme actions. People suffering, people to be evacuated, search and rescue, can't wait on a procurement process especially when you have an agency advice that you can go to direct processing. If I didn't do what I did, those starlings would not get into the system for at least 1 month in a national disaster.
Right,
Question,
thank you.
Minister. So then, in that context, then, would you then agree that there should be changes to legislation to make things like this easier for you to do in the future?
That's a no-brainer. Our Prime Minister has already spoken on this issue, and I look forward to what takes place going forward, because that's an absolute no-brainer. You cannot have the same guidelines in normal times that you have in extreme times. And therefore, the fact of the matter is that if that's what obtains, and there's only procurement for normal times, then we have to use our judgment as persons who have been elected and persons who have been appointed to do what is best to represent and protect the people of this country. And for that, I have no apology.
So would you then say that one of those legislative changes would be to empower ministers such as yourself to do what you do?
I don't know. No, I don't think it has to do that. I think it just has to deal with emergency, practical solutions. It doesn't have to specifically deal with Starlink. It's just emergency as against normal times. And what obtains in emergency to be able to get the reaction that you need when people are out there dying and suffering.
And they can't get it out there,
Minister Morris Dixon. Jamaica received a score of 44 out of 100 on the Corruption Perception Index that ranks us 73rd out of 180 countries. What's the government's response to this rating? It's the 6th year in a row we've been rated 44, and what does the government think it can do to increase our rating in the future?
All right, so thank you for that question. And I saw the ranking, as you clearly said, it is the same number as before. But we also have to note that has been an improvement. And so that has been our highest ranking in history. And that is because of active work of the government. And so, we talk a lot about the Integrity Commission, which is a creature of this administration largely, and every year it's funded. And so we've put in place quite a number of mechanisms in order to be able to get the ranking we currently are. Would we like to be higher? Absolutely. And I think that you see that kind of openness in our country. You have an Auditor General who has been exploring so many aspects of our work after this emergency. And that has been unfettered. The government has not intervened. The government has been very clear that we are anti-corruption. And so we welcome the ranking again. We've not, reduced in terms of our ranking in terms of the score that Jamaica has gotten, which is a good thing. But we do want to see that score go higher. And as we continue in terms of our own work and our own legislative work, that is a key component of this administration. And we've never shied away from that. And even things like this, where we're very open, taking your questions on an Auditor General report also signify how important it is for us. Accountability is everything in this administration.
Okay. My follow-up is from the CPI, so I'll just ask before the student,
Okay, sure.
if that's okay. So in addition to the findings, Minister, the CPI index also revealed that for the first time in 10 years, corruption is now at an average 42. That's out of 100. The higher the score, the better. Corruption perception, CPI. So I said CPI. Okay. So it's now at 42 out of 100, which is very bad for the first time in a decade. It represents what
Them a try to shy away
call
from the truth.
widespread corruption in the public sector. Do you think it's an indication of what we're seeing in Jamaica? And it's a global index.
Yeah.
But bring it back home, based on the reports that we're seeing, based on the work of the government, what's your reaction to all of that?
I think, it is a global study, and I'd encourage everybody to read the study because it looks at corruption globally, and it raises questions about countries that we sometimes would want to be admiring. And so it's not just a Jamaica situation, and I think we have to look
Jamaica
at
we're
it
talking
very
about.
holistically. But I do think in the Jamaican context, I am particularly proud of the administration, and as someone who probably I'm one of the newer ones into politics.
I know, me know say you're mad.
When I looked in on the outside, you have all these perceptions.
No, me know
and
this
I
woman
come
mad.
in, and I see how hard it is to do a simple procurement. And I see all the checks and balances that we've put into our system to prevent corruption. Sometimes I feel we've overcompensated. And so it's as if we're treating everybody as if they are criminal. But we have a robust system here, and we should be very proud of that. Now, there's always going to be a delay in terms of perception. That's always going to be a feature. And so we've done a lot of work, and we've seen that work, and it's been real work that has been done in Jamaica. And we know that things are definitely better in terms of accountability. And the
them a kind of something people I doing.
Strong in this.
I don't listen to mad woman.
Now, are
It's
there
not woman and a
elements
mad
of
something
corruption?
wrong.
Yes.
Trending in metal crafts. Alibaba.com, world-leading B2B e-commerce marketplace.
Do you find them?
You know things you
Auditor
mad.
General or Integrity Commission, whichever one of the many bodies that we have empowered in our country, they will unearth these, and that's a good thing that they can be unearthed. The key thing is that we have a system that has been improved significantly over time, and it's something we should be proud of, but we don't stop there. There's obviously more work to be done, and that work has to be done. And our administration is very clear on the fact that this is important. If you look at our manifesto, you see it in there. You may not see it in others, but you saw it in our manifesto because it was something that we felt, even though
All
we
the
made
people them a
strides,
laugh. The
there's
people them a
still
laugh.
work
Me
to be
say,
done.
the
right.
journalists them a dead with
Has a
laugh.
question, and I know they're about to kick me out of the room.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My question is directed.
What's your name and where are you from?
Tanuja Mullings. I am from the University of the West Indies, Mona campus. My question is directed towards the JPS representative. My question is, how do you
Rosemary.
believe that post-hurricane recovery efforts have been improved in the event of future hurricane events? And is the JPS now better equipped to deal with these issues amidst shifting climatic patterns?
All right, you hear that, Hugh? Good question.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that question. Great question, and all the best in your studies at UWI. In regards to our efforts, a few things. We have done some significant changes in terms of our response. So as you think in terms of hurricane, you think of some main buckets, right? You think about first the prevention in terms of what can you do to prevent the extent of the damage. Then you think about a heightened response to recover as quickly as possible. In regards to our systems, JPS has made significant investments in the grid, both from a technology perspective and also some element of smart devices on our grid that gives us greater visibility that will enhance our response. As we also go forward, we continue to benchmark with best in class and bring those practices in. What does that look like? We have revamped our entire incident command structure to a best in class, first class incident command structure to streamline response. The other thing that we have done is we've also built in some element of resilience in all that we're doing. That resilience takes several shapes or form. In the interest of time, I won't go through them here, but I'll be more than willing to talk with you after to talk through the element of resilience. That combined element of resilience, heightened response, and investment in technology, I think positions us well along with a key anchor, which is strong partnerships, heightened collaboration with key stakeholders such as government and other owners of critical infrastructure, so we have a coordinated response, one common voice for the best interests of this great nation of Jamaica and our people.
All right, thank you. And Hugh didn't note also that in cabinet, that the cabinet had said as a part of restoration, resilience had to be a key component of that work. And JPS has done a very good job there. All right, so I'm going to Antoinette. Pardon? Okay, all right. I'm told there are no more questions, but I need the help of TVJ and I need the help of Nationwide in telling what I'm going to say next. And so there's some young people who are here with us today, and they are participating in the 37th Ship for World Youth program, which is an important program in collaboration with the government of Japan. And that's why the Japan ambassador is here with us today. So the Ship for World Youth program has been in operation.
Until I say Dana Morris Dixon. I know me know say you're mad. You are going to talk about say Jamaica rated and you say, oh, it's good for the last 10 years when I move. We still there stuck in a corruption. And you say, we should celebrate. I cannot understand what are you saying, lady. What should I celebrate? What should I celebrate? It not even got on one. And you could have said, yeah man, it gone down one. Or it gone up. Because up you get the ratings by. And you come here and say, it's a good thing and we have celebrate. No man, something wrong with you. You're gone wacky. You need a psychiatrist. You're gone. Anyway, I'm going to open the phone lines now. Anybody want to call in? If you don't want to talk about the Damian Crawford situation, you can call in. Oh, me say I'm going to play this one. All right, hold on. I'm going to play this one and then new taxes coming in 26, 27 budget. With taxi always there. It's just that you don't have to talk you out now. You can't push up the price I set them no more. You can't fool who you can't fool. You not fool me. Alright, so hold on. Give me check in on the Barbados. Let me check in on Barbados election.
Hi, I'm your AI digital girlfriend who's always here for you. Step into.
How are we going to make people feel that they are so much a part of the makeup of Barbados? But even
so Barbados takes so long for coming in with a couple. How are you going?
Participate. You know, there are some areas in which I think my friend Jamal Slocum alluded to the two parties, over many other parties we have. That
I know
seems
then I
to
start
be
counting the ballot.
sending them to a point where they recognize that
Alright,
national
let me go look back
development
for me, look
requires
for it, because Barbados gonna like their house in Jamaica, you know. So you see the saga where happened down at KSMAC. Good night, Anne-Marie. I'm going to play this clip for you. Wait, am I going too far? No. You know, we got how much? 7 earthquakes since the start of the year. 7 earthquakes since the start of the year. I'm gonna find back the clip. Where I clip them, man? Seven felt earthquakes since the start of the year. Bruce Golden brother drop out. I think I hit this. Let me see.
Focused. We all know that Dr. Chang is on the mend. I will be back in his swing very. Is it a sign that Team JLP is not focused? We all know that Dr. Chang is on the mend. I will be back in his swing very, very soon. We know that the party leadership, the secretariat, dealing with many other things. So is it a lack of leadership? Who is responsible for the slackness that caused what happened at the KCMC to go down? Will heads roll? And those labor rights who boycotted the thing rather than support one of their
You're right,
own
Alfonso.
to put the party in a position where it could have a seat of authority at the KCMC. What of those decisions? Is there need for a shake-up, Mr. Party Leader, Mr. General Secretary, Deputy General Secretaries, Area Council Chairman? Will you let this slide? Or will you shake the jimbling tree and make the rat and them drop off, then you rake them up and throw them away?
You hear that?
Will there be a price to pay for what happened for some individuals on Tuesday? Because what I'm hearing is that upstairs not pleased with what happened. To the PNP, brilliantly done. You knew there was division in the opposition ranks, and you ceded the ground for your own advantage. Yeah? One-upmanship. The PNP were clever and strategic on Tuesday. The labor rights were disorganized, fighting among themselves, wanting power for themselves, not looking at the greater good. And the PNP taught them a lesson on Tuesday. Let's see if it's the first of many. Is it?
You hear that? PNP overtake them. Choose a deputy mayor. The Labour right, them not have enough vote in the neither. That's why they nobody participate in it. Look like we're not hearing nothing now. Boy, oh boy. Alright. Anybody want to call in? Anybody on TikTok want to join? You can send me invite in the box and I put it in the box. Anybody on YouTube, you can call me on WhatsApp and you can share your views. Me said, me don't know what me know, guys. 2 nights straight. I woke up early. I woke up the other morning and felt the earthquake. Last night I didn't came and I went somewhere. And I didn't get a good sleep. And there's something that Mrs. start bothering me now. As night come, I want to sleep. And even when I come and sit down there and attack, it's like sleep won't come. You don't notice that? Yeah. But anyway, anybody want to join the conversation? Alright, nobody now want to join the conversation. So, let me get back to this. Finance Minister Favour Williams has confirmed that the new tax will form part of the government 26-27 budget. The minister said the tax are necessary to respond to the massive physical fallout from Hurricane Melissa. So we know how to go borrow money. So if we not go borrow money, there's no way we could no longer so we not charge new tax. It's impossible. We not gonna get away from this. You ever say anything like this? The opposition leader never get for vote because him name na in the panel. What kind of careless man this here? I first me hear this. Yeah, opposition leader, you know, make sure you know which party you figure vote or something like that. Mm-mm. That's a shame. This politics thing too, you see. Jamaica qualify for FIFA Under 17 World Cup following a 3-1 win over Canada. Very nice. Makeup brush. I will not give me makeup brush. You know, so I need to look on and give something and see what them value. Now they give me makeup brush. Thank you for makeup brush. Anybody else want to join the conversation? If not, I'm going to leave it for tomorrow. I think I'm going to start come on earlier because when night come, I want to sleep. Nobody know a points. Oh. Drink no, if I go drink the coffee now then. I want a good night. If I go drink coffee now, then my worse now I can't sleep. Me need for sleep, man. So I can't wake up back in the morning. So I think this way I'll leave it for tonight. Because I sit down up here and I really feel like I want to lay down. So have on yourself a good night. And I'll make you up back for you tomorrow. Yeah, I'll get some rest. Me make it back up with you tomorrow night, right? Have on yourself a great night. Love you. Yeah, man. Tomorrow we make it up. We just need a good sleep. Bye.